Hey, how's it going? In today's video, AirPods. Let's get right into it and do a quick unboxing. Let's start by talking about their design. They have what I'd say a typical Apple design aesthetic. They look almost exactly like Apple's wired earpods. So there isn't much that's different on the outside. It's on the inside is what makes these a brilliant piece of tech. The stem of the AirPods is slightly thicker than the one on the AirPods. It is this stem that contains the battery, the microphone array, and a bunch of other tech. It is what makes these AirPods truly wire-free. And trust me, that feeling of not having any kind of wires hanging from your ears is liberating. I can use these AirPods in any situation. I haven't felt even once that they have come in the way of me trying to do something. Apart from the AirPods, you get a case that is used to store the AirPods. And yes, the case does look like dental floss. Now, apart from being just a place to store the AirPods, the case actually does much more. The case has a built-in battery of its own, and it actually charges the AirPods when the AirPods are inside the case. The case provides an extra 24 hours of battery life to the AirPod. You use a lightning port at the bottom of the case to charge the case and the AirPods. And that's the only way to charge the AirPods. The AirPods need to be in the case to actually charge. Each AirPod is supposed to last 5 hours on a single charge. But because you would always keep the AirPods in the case, they just keep getting charged. There's no point during the day when you feel like the AirPods have actually run out of battery. And that's the beauty of the case charging the AirPods. The other brilliant piece of the overall design is the use of magnets. The lid of the case actually closes using magnets. The AirPods are securely held within the case with the use of magnets. It gives an overall premium feeling experience. And it gives me a new fidget toy to play around with. Moving to function. The case is also what is used to pair the AirPods. This is one of the headlining features that Apple talked about when they introduced the AirPods. Using a combination of proximity sensor, accelerometer data, and the new W1 chip that's inside the AirPods, the AirPod case is smart enough to know when it has been opened near an iPhone. When you pop open the lid of the case near an iPhone, a prompt shows up on the iPhone screen. If you're doing this for the very first time, there's a little connect button at the bottom of that prompt. As soon as you hit that, it changes to tell you that you need to press and hold a small physical white button behind the case of the AirPods. As soon as you do that, the LED inside the case changes to a fading white LED light. And this means that the pairing process has started. It takes a couple of seconds, after which the AirPods get paired to your phone. The pairing information is then distributed to all the iOS and macOS devices using the same iCloud account that's on your phone. And this is the other special thing about the AirPods. Once you've paired them with your phone, you don't need to go through the same process with all your other devices. The AirPods are technically already paired with them. You just need to go to the right place and choose the AirPods as the output for that device. On a Mac, you would do this by clicking on the sound icon in the menu bar. Your AirPods should already show up in the device list. When you click on it, the AirPods will disconnect from your phone and connect to your Mac. To use them with your phone again or any other iOS device, just swipe up from the bottom of the screen to open the control center, swipe left to go to the audio controls, and at the bottom where it says iPhone or iPad, hit that button and the AirPods should show up again in the list of devices. Just select the AirPods and they'll now connect to your iOS device. And just like that, you can use your AirPods with your iOS and macOS devices. The W1 chip inside the AirPods also helps maintain a stronger connection between your device and the AirPods. So technically, you should get a better performance and better range while using AirPods with your Apple devices. I say technically because I have an iPhone 6s Plus, and I've actually had a lot of connection issues while using the AirPods. And Apple actually recently confirmed that iPhone 6s and 6s Plus devices actually do have some sort of an issue, and they're trying to work on a fix. So hopefully that comes out soon. The AirPods will also connect to non-Apple devices. Now there's no magic pairing process in this case. You just open the lid of the case and press and hold the pairing button behind the case. When you do that, the AirPods go into a pairing mode, which is indicated by the LED changing into a fading white LED. The AirPods then show up in the device list. You just tap them and they get paired like any other Bluetooth device. The way AirPods are designed, and with so much tech stuffed into them, there's really no place to put actual physical buttons. So the only way to interact with AirPods is using a double tap gesture. The way it works is that when the AirPods are in your ear, you double tap just above the stem to initiate an action. This action by default is invoking Siri. When Siri gets invoked, you hear the same confirmation sound, and then you can ask Siri to do anything you would normally ask. And in case of controlling the AirPods, you can ask Siri to do things like skip or play the previous track, play or pause music. Oh yes, and control the volume. Because there's no other way of doing that using a physical gesture. For me, the lack of any kind of a physical volume control is probably the only thing I don't like about the AirPods design. Because I don't like using Siri that much, I've changed the default action for the double tap gesture to be a simple play or pause. You can do this yourself by going into the Bluetooth settings menu, going into the settings for the AirPods, and then choosing an action for the double tap gesture. You can actually even choose to completely turn off this feature if you wanted to. The double tap gesture is also what is used to receive and end calls. And that's pretty much the only control you get. With non-Apple devices, you can only use this double tap gesture to play or pause or receive and end calls. But that's pretty much it. You can't invoke any kind of a virtual assistant or anything. Now, if you use an Apple Watch, the story is slightly different. I use an Apple Watch, and what I've found is that the combination of using AirPods with an Apple Watch works best. I find it very easy to use the Now Playing screen in the Apple Watch dock to control volume and move between tracks. One last piece of functionality that I wanted to talk about is the proximity sensors on each of the AirPods. With the help of these sensors, the AirPods can actually detect when they've been removed from your ears, and when that happens, whatever you were listening to automatically pauses. I love this feature because when I'm at work and someone actually comes to talk to me, all I have to do is remove any one of the AirPods and whatever I was listening to just pauses. I can talk to the person, and if I put the AirPods back in within a few seconds, whatever I was listening to just resumes. It's just super convenient. This feature, however, does not work with non-Apple devices. Let's talk about the fit and feel. Because these are very similar to EarPods in the way they fit your ears, if the EarPods did not work for you, these will not either. Just stop thinking about getting them. However, if you're in the group of people that actually enjoyed the way the EarPods fit, you'll actually enjoy these even more because of the lack of any kind of wires. Personally, for me, they fit perfectly. I use them all the time while I'm at work or while I'm working out at the gym. I just carry them around with me everywhere. Now, the material used to make these AirPods is actually a glossy white plastic. And that has a couple of negatives. The AirPods are one of the most slippery pieces of tech that I own. And because of how small they are, they constantly try to slip out of my hands. I've dropped the case a couple of times because of this. And one of those times, as soon as the case hit the floor, the lid opened up and the AirPods actually went flying in different directions. I thought that was it. I'm gonna have to go to the Apple store and get a $69 a piece replacement. But thankfully I found my AirPods that day. So that's something to keep in mind. Even just the AirPods themselves, they're so small, there's always a chance that you might end up dropping and losing them. Because the AirPods are going to be carried around inside a pocket, there are times when there's a lot of pocket lint inside the case. And being white plastic, it doesn't look very neat. You're just gonna have to keep cleaning it out. I hope Apple releases a matte black version of these. That would be just awesome. Currently, there are companies like Colorware that will actually paint your AirPods black or any other color for you. And based on MKBHD's recent video, they actually do a pretty good job. But it's going to cost you almost twice as much the price of the AirPods to get that done. So I'm going to just wait it out. Now the AirPods don't look very pleasing. I've had people tell me that they look like cotton hanging out of my ear. Again, this is in part because of the glossy white color, but I did feel awkward in the beginning when I started using them. Now after using them for about a month, they're just too convenient to think about anything else. I've also been seeing more and more of these out in public. So I'm pretty sure soon they'll just become a normal thing and people won't feel awkward looking at them or wearing them. Now, based on the number of times that I've actually dropped the AirPods, and also based on other reviews that I've seen on YouTube, the AirPods actually seem to be very durable. Apple doesn't officially say that these are water resistant, but I'm sure when they designed these, they thought about how people might end up using them in the gym. I've seen videos on YouTube where people have actually put them in water and they still continued to work. But then again, don't try that at home. I'm not gonna try that. It's just good to know that they'll survive a splash or two in case I get caught in the rain or if I'm at the gym. To wrap it up, I think that if you're invested in the Apple ecosystem and you own one or more Apple devices, the AirPods will probably be the best and most convenient pair of wireless earphones that you can own. If you're on the fence about buying these, I'd say stop thinking about it, just go and get a pair and you'll just love them. That's of course if the AirPods used to work for you. If the AirPods didn't work for you, these are going to keep falling from your ears and you're not going to have a very happy experience. I'm really happy with my AirPods and I would totally recommend them to anyone else looking to get them. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see any other videos that I might be posting in the future. Until next time, see ya.